Hi everyone, Melissa here. Today I'm going to be going over the basics of building an apex with dip powder, the reasons for it, and some of my personal favorite ways to do it. So for an apex, mainly the main purpose of an apex is to give strength to longer nails to keep them from breaking. So if you have very short nails and you're wanting to build an apex, it's mostly going to be for aesthetic purposes because it looks good to have that curve, the apex, which you can see my nails kind of naturally have that a bit. So when my nails are really short, I don't have to do a lot of work to build that. Now, if I were to make my nails a lot longer, of course, then I have to make my apex higher. That way there's a thickness here that comes down that makes that length strong so that I don't get breakage easily. But for purposes of showing all of you how you can build an apex, we're going to say for about this length because this is a pretty common standard length. It might even be longer than I think most people wear their nails with dip powder. I'm just going to show you how you can do this if you don't already have this natural apex look, and I'm going to show you what I think is the most important part of keeping that nice apex look. So today for my mani, I'm going to be using a couple colors from Miss Florida Nails. They are both in little sample baggies, so I'm going to be using cupcake liners for this. But I have Better Than Sex, which is a kind of a chunky hollow with some diamond glitters in there. I did choose a chunky because I want to show you how I like to do apex over or with chunky glitters, because I do it differently than with solids. So I'm just pouring this out in here so that I can work with it. And then I have Hawaiian Sands, which is a gorgeous sandy nude shimmer. It's not even like a standard shimmer. I don't even know how to explain it. It has like a gold sheen to it. I don't know if you can see that on the bag. You can. It's beautiful. So I'm just going to pour this in here. Okay, so generally because I have a lot of apex, I most frequently just do full dips on my nail just because I don't need extra dip in the center or in just part of the nail to build that up because it builds up on its own. But I will be showing you how a nice standard way to build apex while dipping with layers. So for solids, and this will of course depend on how much of an apex you need to build, how many layers you're going to do. Of course, the longer your nails are, the more layers you want to do because you need more thickness to get that strength. But a good place to start, and you can do these first layers with clear if you like, I usually just do them with the powder, is to put just a strip down the center here from, say, about a third of the way up your nail to that end. Do a second one going a little bit further down. Still, I'm not going all the way over to the sides. I'm just building up the top of the nail. And then I'm going to do 2 full dips. Okay, and as you can see here, if you can focus, we already have a bit of that build up there. If you need more, you can add more partial layers just here, just applying the dip. You can add more layers on the top because it's all going to be smoothed out once you're done dipping anyway. So you can just kind of gauge how much more of an apex you'd like to build based on how much length you have. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dip. I'm gonna do my thumb and my middle finger the same way with the solid or shimmer color. Okay, I'm actually going to do one more full dip of the color on each nail just because I do like to file a lot and I don't want to end up filing through just the 2 layers that are at my cuticle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll also go ahead and tell you what is on my left hand. I've got, this is Andromeda from Dipp'd. It is not released yet. It will be out at the end of August and it is gorgeous. So keep an eye out for that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw down just one more dip of this color on each of these nails, and then I'll get into the chunky glitter. Okay, now for the chunky glitter, I'm just gonna mix this up a bit. So I'm going to tap her down and try and get some of these glitters flattened out here. Application a little bit easier there. Okay, so when it comes to building apex with chunky glitters, I prefer to do that over the top with clear as opposed to underneath, because chunky glitters can get a little bit thick. If you have a bunch of layers of clear underneath and then you end up having to do a couple layers of this to get good coverage, then you're going to end up having to do a couple more layers of clear over the top and you're going to end up with a really thick nail. So I prefer to just lay the chunky glitter down onto the bare nail and then build up with clear afterwards. Usually with chunky glitters, I will do a solid underneath, but with a hollow silver like this, there's really no good corresponding solid to put underneath to cover any bald spots. So I'm just gonna end up having to do probably 2 dips of this to get good coverage and maybe some individual placement, we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and just dive right in. So I'm doing a full dip of the chunky. So we're gonna put a nice liberal coverage coat on here to make sure that you really catch those glitters well and that it stays kind of wet so that you can press them down before they all dry in place. I'm just gonna lay down and roll right into this. Hold it there for a second and come out and really push down. You may want to use something on your finger, like a glove or a piece of painter's tape or something to protect your finger from all of that glitter and the glue, but I prefer to just file my finger after. And we're just going to go around here, loosening up any glitters that are just going to fall out, cleaning up that area, and then cuticle nippers are your best friend. So we're just gonna take these, start clipping off any overhang. All right, so far so good. I'm just gonna do the other one. Okay, so when I have pretty decent coverage like this, for some reason I've got a really big bald spot right there. I'm not sure how that happened, but it's okay. When I've got pretty decent coverage like this, I like to just kind of spot fill the base in areas where I need a little bit more. That way I don't build up too much bulk with an entire extra dip that's not necessary. So I'm just going to, like on this nail, I'll just come in and put it right by the cuticle here in this big old bald spot right there. A little bit down here. Maybe a little here. Okay, and that gave it so much better coverage, so I'm gonna do my little bit of cleaning up here with this and with the nippers to get hanging off stuff. Okay, now I'm gonna do another layer of base over the top. This is gonna help really push the glitters down. I'm going to do another layer of base right over the top. Okay, so now with the clear over the top of the chunky glitter, you can just apply the clear as though it was on your bare nail. So same apex method over the top. So I'm just gonna do a strip of clear here. Okay, now we're going to just make sure that we're brushing off all the excess clear, which you want to have been doing between each layer, because if you have all that excess clear on there, even with the clearest of clears, you can still end up with a little bit of spottiness once you've done this many layers. So you just want to be very vigilant in clearing off that extra powder. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and activate all of these, then I can get into the filing process. Okay, so we're all activated. Now, to me, filing is one of the most important steps in making sure that you maintain a nice, clean apex nail look. So I'm going to go over how I file to keep that look. Of course, always I line the file up from the bottom of the nail here, the cuticle, all the way up to the tip, and then just file that along the sidewall straight up. That'll clean that side up. Make it nice and pretty. If you have any bumpies or anything like that, which we all do sometimes, it's just about filing them to get rid of them. And then of course right along the tip to clean that up. And then you're gonna file at an angle here along the cuticle line. Kind of this kind of angle like this. It will force the cuticle to be filed in a way that still moves upwards in this angle. And then from the sides, we're going to be filing upwards at the same angle, all the way from the side of the nail upwards, because we want to get that nice C-curve shape as well. When it comes to filing this part of the nail where the apex is, you want to tackle that as little as possible. So we're going to be coming here to the tip also and filing that nice and smooth, so we have a nice smooth tip shape here. And then when it comes to filing over the part that's the apex, we're just gently doing it to smooth out. We're not actually trying to file off any of the bulk from that area. And that'll give you that nice rounded apex shape. All right, and here we go with the finished product with our apex building. Hopefully this answered some questions for you, maybe helped you out. If not, let me know if you have any other questions below. I'm always happy to answer questions in the comments. And I will see you next time.